In the aftermath of Super Bowl 54, the 49ers have reiterated that Jimmy Garoppolo is their guy. The clearest statement came during the scouting combine. It was after the scouting combine that the rumors started to percolate of maybe the 49ers considering Tom Brady. Chris Sims reported that that indeed did occur, and a lot of people said that was hashtag fake news. Well, yesterday, GM John Lynch, on with Rich Eisen, addressed whether or not the 49ers considered Tom Brady. Here's what Lynch had to say.
When you're talking about one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time with Tom Brady, of course you're going to have some internal discussion, and then you hear rumors that he'd like to come home, that kind of thing. So of course Kyle and I have discussions, but the cool thing, Rich, that we shared with Jimmy is that we forced ourselves. We're always into getting better, and so you look at everything, especially a situation like that. But within a day or two, Kyle and I looked at each other and said, you know what? We really like what we have in Jimmy. We love everything that he brings, and we really believe it's a long-term answer. And so that's I would tell you we're more convicted than ever about who our quarterback is in Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, there is much to unpack there, Christopher David Sims. And it begins with, did you notice, John Lynch, as he started down that path, he kind of stopped it he knows he is tiptoeing into a minefield by being candid with what they did. I'm serious here.
Right.
And when he says you hear rumors about him wanting to come home, well, who the hell were they hearing the rumors from? They're not surfing the web and reading PFT to see the rumors of Tom Brady wanting to come back to San Francisco. They're hearing it from Tom Brady's camp. It's not something that's just fallen out of the sky and they're like, maybe he wants to come home. You don't actively consider signing Tom Brady unless you have clear reason to believe he wants to join the 49ers. So, look, Lynch couldn't come out and that's why he stopped and went like, oh, crap. But he said enough, Chris. He said enough. They considered for multiple days the prospect of signing Tom Brady. And it was nice they kept Jimmy Garoppolo in the loop about the possibility he was going to get traded back to New England, which is probably what would have happened. But it's clear now, and I appreciate it from John Lynch. I respect that far more than I respect the Browns flat out saying, we had no trade conversations with Odell Beckham Jr. Now, I know they have to do that because they can't afford to alienate Odell Beckham Jr., but, man, it's refreshing that John Lynch was willing to very, very gingerly tiptoe through that minefield and acknowledge to everyone that they did indeed consider Tom Brady.
Yeah, well, I think it's the thing that's refreshing about the 49ers. It's just a football team that, seems real from the coach down, the owner down. Yes, and, my experience being around John Lynch, whether it's with Kyle Shanahan or, when I was a teammate of John Lynch in Tampa Bay, he's a very honest, real person and a good person at that. He knows what it's like to be a player. He knows what it's like to be a player and get screwed over by the organization. So he doesn't want to infuse that or do that to other guys. He does it. And, Kyle Shanahan's the same way. They're just very real. They're in your face. They're going to tell you not to be mean or anything like that, but just to keep it real, to keep you informed, to let you know where they are as an organization. Yeah, and I think when he says the rumors and things like that, I had a lot of people, Mike, as you know, connected to this situation on both camps, Brady and the 49ers. So I really, the 49ers didn't tell me, it's down to, New England or Tampa. No, I found that out from somebody, associated with knowledge in the Brady camp. But I think when they heard the back channel rumors, Mike, yes, it was people reaching out to them within the NFL rumorville, the underground rumorville of basically saying, hey, Tom Brady, I think if he was to leave New England, would love to go to San Francisco and go back home. And the 49ers did the right thing by being honest. And then, of course, digesting it and conversing about it to see whether it fits. Because, yes, when arguably the greatest quarterback of all time says he wants to come and play for you, you think about it. You definitely do. You'd be stupid just to swipe that under the rug and say, nah, we don't need you. It was good. And I think they handled it the right way.
And look, regardless of how they heard the rumors about Tom Brady wanting to come home, at some point they get to a juncture where they understand it's real. It's real enough that they consider it and they tell Garoppolo about it. See, there's nothing to tell Garoppolo about unless you are seriously considering it. Why do you want to upset your relationship with Garoppolo unless you're seriously considering? There's all these Garoppolo truthers out there, Chris. The 49ers fans, either they wish secretly that they got Tom Brady or they blindly support Garoppolo and they're plugging their ears and saying, I'm not listening. It's like, folks, look. Even though they didn't ultimately pursue Tom Brady, they considered it. And do you really think the Chiefs considered Tom Brady when they've got Patrick Mahomes? Do you think the Packers considered Tom Brady when they've got Aaron Rodgers? Do you think the Seahawks considered Tom Brady when they've got Russell Wilson? Hell no, hell no, hell no. They know in their hearts that there is reason to at least ponder an upgrade. And they ultimately resolved it by not pursuing Brady, which may or may not have been an upgrade. Who knows? They decided it wouldn't be an upgrade, but they at least did it. Everything you said was accurate, and Lynch said it in a way that even though he didn't come out and say, hey, everything Chris Sims said was accurate, the pieces are there to put the puzzle together and come to the logical conclusion that they did engage in a serious consideration of pursuing and signing. And they wouldn't even have to pursue him. He wanted to come. Signing, not even pursuing. The pursuit was over. The fish was in the boat. They had to just decide whether or not they were going to throw it back or put it in the cooler, period.
Well, yeah, that's right. And, again, I know a lot of people in the 49ers organization. I really do. Forget Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. They got people on their coaching staff that I knew before they knew Kyle Shanahan or John Lynch. So I had no really inkling of it until I heard Deion Sanders say it. Okay, at the NFL Combine. And that perked my ears up because I went, where did the hell did Deion Sanders come out of that? He's a very smart guy, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think that's one of those things you just throw out into the microphone on national TV unless you've heard an inkling about it. And that's what got me to call around with a few people. And, yeah, ultimately I had heard from people with knowledge on Brady's camp that Brady's first choice was the San Francisco 49ers. And then I started to dig and find out that it was very real and those type of things. So, hey, it's fascinating. I don't think you could fault the San Francisco 49ers. It's the smart thing to do to be diligent there and think about a move like that. Forget all the financial ramifications that you always talk about, jersey sales, ticket sales, whatever it may be. Again, Brady still played real good football last year. Is it like the greatest football we've ever seen? No, but it was still real good to where you think you can win a Super Bowl with him. And, I just like how Lynch, Shanahan approached the whole situation and did their due diligence and were honest about it, and they moved on, and I think they made the right decision ultimately.
I'm not so sure that they did. I'm just glad that it came out the way that it did. And you know what? Even though it came out the way that it did, there are still going to be people who refuse to acknowledge it. But there were so many people who said, well, they didn't sign Tom Brady, so they must have never considered it, which is an asinine take. There are plenty of things that teams consider doing that they never actually do. You cast a very broad net. You think about every scenario. And if it gets to the point where you tell Garoppolo you're doing it, it's real, because there's no reason to screw up his head by pondering Tom Brady unless you're damn sure that you're going to get him if you simply say, yeah, we'll take Tom Brady.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.